My name is Cody Morgan. I'm from Exeter, Maine, and I first heard about Ron Paul in late August, early September of this past year. I was away working a summer job at a Boy Scout camp. I'm an Eagle Scout. And my mom, when I came home after work, said, "Hey, I just watched one of the recent debates, and there's this guy named Ron Paul. You might like him." So I said, "Oh, I'll go online, I'll check him out." So I watched some of the debate highlights, and after I watched some of the debate highlights, I went on and I watched some YouTube videos from 2008 and that people have made, and from there I've been working for the campaign as a volunteer ever since.
What's the dominant issue for you personally that motivates your political action?
I'd say there are probably two issues that are of equal importance to me. The first one that got me really involved and really excited about Ron Paul was his foreign policy. Because what I was hearing a lot of times when I first doing my research was that he was an isolationist, and I was like, isolationist? That's horrible. Why would anyone do that? And then as I started watching more and more videos and reading more and more about his standpoints, I was learning that it was a non-interventionist standpoint where we don't have our finger in everyone else's pie and try to influence other countries and their policies by our own interests. And I said, that's spot on. But at the same time, if there's an imminent threat or if we get attacked, he was going to respond, and he was going to have a just war with a declaration of war, and the war would be over quick, rather than these prolonged wars in Iraq and Afghanistan, where I've had friends serve and come back changed people. And I just said to myself, that's unnecessary. I had friends go over to Iraq in the past 2 or 3 years, and they came home and there was a 180 difference in their demeanor and in how they carried themselves. Because of the things they had done and the things they had seen. And so his foreign policy with this anti-world police image was the first thing that really got me involved. The second one was his adherence to the Constitution. Since the Tea Party started in like 2010, I had been really interested in the Constitution and adhering to it both at the state and national levels. So I mean, he's called the champion of the Constitution for a reason, because he votes based on the principle of his adherence to the Constitution and his oath to office, and his integrity and the character it takes to follow that and not be influenced by interest groups or by power lust is just something that really impressed me.
What actions did you take at your college?
What I did was, as soon as I first learned about Ron Paul, I got the Ron Paul fever, and I was just all the time 24/7. And I heard about this new program they were starting, which was the Youth for Ron Paul, and you could start a chapter at your school or university campus or whatever the situation was. And I applied to be a chapter leader, and I took right off, and I went outside after I first got that box of campaign materials that they sent me, and I stood all by myself on the sidewalk, and it was one of the most humbling experiences I've ever had. It was really intimidating. And I handed a lot of stuff out that day. I probably handed out one of those 100-pack things of issue cards, and I think more people took it out of sympathy than took it out of, oh, I want to hear about Ron Paul. But after that day, I had like 3 or 4 people give me their information because they wanted to get involved, and from there, I can proudly say I have the largest Youth for Ron Paul chapter in the state of Maine, with 90 to 100 people signed up.
What's activity been like the last couple of weeks? Tell me a little bit about what it was like, kind of getting to know the caucus process.
Well, at first, when I first learned that we were a caucus state, I didn't even know what that meant. So I watched some videos and I read a bunch of stuff about it, and I still really didn't get it. And then the campaign had started getting active in the state, and this was probably like December. And I went to a meeting, and they explained the caucus process, and they explained how it works, when caucuses were going to start, who to get in touch with. And so I learned what I needed to do for Penobscot County, where my super caucus was going to be. And then I went on to the university campus, and I had started getting more and more people. We had probably 50, 60 active members. And I held a Youth for Ron Paul meeting, and there were probably 20, 30 people there. And I told them that we're not a primary, we're a caucus, and a lot of them were scratching their heads and like, what caucus, what's that? And I handed out a bunch of information. We had like an hour-and-a-half long meeting on what a caucus is, how it works, when theirs is, who to get in touch with, pretty much what the campaign had done. And I just told the students, but For the last 4 weeks, this is all I've been doing is going to caucuses around the state. I went to Millinocket, where there were 3 towns, and I went to Dexter and Charleston, and my own caucus in Bangor for Penobscot County. I went to Piscataquis County. I went to Brunswick. I went to New Gloucester, and I've been going to all of them, helping run it, and a lot of the times actually speaking on Ron Paul's behalf in that 5-minute segment where all the candidates get to explain and kind of sway the voters and say, this is why you should vote for me, this is why I support Ron Paul. And I did that a majority of the time, and it was a lot of fun.
If somebody wanted to join your group or find out about the group on campus, how would they go about finding it?
Well, once every couple of weeks, we're outside on the sidewalk handing stuff out with signs and whatnot. So we actually get quite a few people just by doing that. If they don't want to get involved, at least they get the material. But I have a Facebook group. It's Youth for Ron Paul 2012 with a colon Maine. That's where a lot of our information is disseminated, whether it's events or caucus information, stuff that's been going on. But you can also go on to the actual Youth for Ron Paul site that the campaign has, and you can actually search, and you can click on Maine, and it shows all the active chapters and the leaders, and you can get involved right there by sending a message or actually clicking on it and saying, I want to be a part of this, and it sends an email to me with your information, and I can actually contact someone that way.
And anything else you want to add at all?
I could talk about Ron Paul probably for hours. I will say that ever since I got involved, this is all I've been doing 24/7, and it's been really hard to balance school and classes with the stuff I want to do for Ron Paul. I think I've been able to do that successfully. I mean, I've been on the dean's list, and at the same time been able to do everything I've done, both on campus and for the campaign. Like a lot of people tell me, a lot of the people that have gone to caucuses probably wouldn't have if I hadn't got in touch with them and told them how the process worked. I think that probably 30, but I think a lot of other people say 40 or 50 people wouldn't have caucused and voted for Ron Paul and become delegates, which is the important part. I blame Ron Paul for my sleep deprivation because I stay up late every night working on stuff, and I've been busy the last 4 weekends. This is actually the first weekend I haven't done anything because the caucuses are pretty much over. But I can't even. People want to hang out or talk or just kind of chill. I don't want to talk about anything else because it doesn't seem important to me anymore. What seems important and pertinent to me now is the Constitution and Ron Paul and everything that he stands for. And while other college students are out drinking at parties, I'm home on my laptop working, and I'm out on the sidewalk handing stuff out, or I'm getting involved in the process. So I will say that because of everything that's happened over this past 6 months, I've changed both in an outgoing way. I'm very concerned with the issues, but also my mindset on a lot of things has changed, and I really have to contribute that to Ron Paul and what he believes in.
Click here to donate to support efforts to elect Ron Paul to the White House.